the 2024 Stanley Cup odds. The Hurricanes remain the favorite, followed by the Panthers and the Rangers. Interesting that they all are coming from the similar side of the bracket.
While the Oilers have the top-end talent, I still don't think they have enough depth, and Stuart Skinner does not scare me in net. So I will take a long series from the Oilers and the Kings, and ultimately I think the Stars are the ones coming out of the West for the Stanley Cup.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
DraftKings making a progressive move, I think, that most other companies are also going to do or have done in the past. Adding someone from the government or someone you would say in legislation to become their responsible gaming leader here. And in this case, her name is Lori Kalani.
And it'll be interesting to see if other companies try to follow suit in terms of hiring former lobbyists to head responsible gaming.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
GameTime had 35 in the first half, Cam. And then, of course, he did not have another point the rest of the game.
Lillard's, it's playoff game time. This guy will show up. He will hit shots. Indiana, you better respond here because I'll tell you, that's a bad loss. We were wrong, Carver. Like, hey, I admit, I was on the Pelicans. This game, I lost.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on...
Welcome in. Happy Friday. It is Game Time Decisions here on the SportsGrid Network. I'm Joe Raineri. Certainly appreciate you stopping by on this May the 3rd here as we get ready for the first weekend in the month of May. We get ready for a couple of Game 6s, the all-important Game 6s in the NBA here tonight. We've got the Cleveland Cavaliers taking on the Orlando Magic, and then a little bit later tonight, we'll head out west, or actually Midwest, if you will, as the Dallas Mavericks will look to close out the LA Clippers in 6. Will we have a Game 7? Well, we're not going to have a Game 7 from past series because the Knicks handled their business last night there, so they will have advanced, and of course, we already know the Celtics had a nice intramural series against the Miami Heat. So as you can see, we know the Pacers and Knicks are coming up. We know the Celtics are awaiting the winner of this Cavs-Orlando series. And, of course, we already know we're going to get a pretty great battle out west this weekend between the Denver Nuggets and the Minnesota Timberwolves. So all that is left is to plug in the pieces of this remaining first-round teams. And boy, oh boy, it should be interesting to say the least. Also, interesting is what we learned a little bit earlier in the afternoon as the LA Lakers have gone ahead and fired head coach Darvin Ham. And that had to be the most, unshocking news I think I've heard all week here. And we knew that it wasn't working out well there for Darvin Ham. He is a former NBA player, an assistant coach. He was only, after all, given 2 years here in L.A. following a brief reprieve of Frank Vogel, and then took over for him. But the reality is it was just not a good fit. He, like Frank Vogel and a long list of others before him, just become the absolute scapegoat for a Lakers team that once again allows LeBron James to do whatever he wants to do. And if you are Rob Pelinka and you go ahead and allow LeBron James to figure out who the coach is or shouldn't be, well, then you are going to continue to have a lot of very disappointing NBA seasons. But having said that, it is certainly an interesting job opening, one that a lot of rumors and innuendos will go ahead and continue to surface. Could Ty Lue be one of the new look coaches for the Lakers as he walks across the hall from the Clippers to the Lakers? Is that a possibility? Well, the Clippers could very well be on their way out of the playoffs here tonight unless they can muster up enough effort to be able to get it done here with James Harden, Paul George, and once again, no Kawhi Leonard. That seems to be a theme, does it not here? But the Clippers moving forward still don't have a long-term deal or a new deal in place with Paul George. We all know that James Harden is, he's a used car of sorts here. He'll just go from owner to owner to owner, trying to figure out where he can land and what kind of paycheck he can get. Never really moving the needle for any team. And we'll see tonight if he can actually help this Clippers team do something besides write checks to overpaid, maybe over-the-hill NBA players. But that remains to be seen. So Ty Lue up at the top of that list because moving forward, a lot of uncertainty and a lot of cap hell, they say, for the Clippers in the future. So could he be the quick fix there? But I will also say the rumors of J.J. Redick, among others, because LeBron James said it would be great to have J.J. Redick as a head coach. Well, former player, and no offense to J.J. Redick, he was a great player, loved him. But if you're going to pick him, then you've learned nothing here, Rob Pelinka, because you're basically giving LeBron James a buddy instead of an actual coach. And what that team needs more than anything else is a coach, and they just have not been able to find one. Juwan Howard is also a big name. Mike Budenholzer is an interesting name that is also being rumored now. So a lot still to be decided when it comes to the Lakers moving forward and what their future will be like. I will say this, whoever the coach is, better be prepared to play Bronny next year because, make no mistake, LeBron, the only reason he'd be a Laker is if they go ahead and draft his kid who, well, couldn't play at USC, but I'm sure he'll have no problem fitting in and moving the needle in the NBA. We also have got some breaking news when it comes on the NFL front here. Look at that. OBJ, Odell Beckham Jr., now with his 23rd team. No, not 20. Oh, I'm sorry, 20. I'm sorry, $8.5 million. I'm sorry. I lost count after 12. But Odell Beckham Jr. is now a Miami Dolphin, a one-year deal, $8.25 million. He will take his talents, what's left of it, to South Beach here. And I'm wondering what the over-under is on games he'll actually play in, if not hurt. And boy, oh boy, that's not a big roll of the dice if you're the Miami Dolphins, given the fact that Odell, when healthy, could certainly, another weapon there for Tua, and that's always good to go with Tyreek Hill and company. But the problem with Odell is now, and it always remains, can he be available? Will he be available? And can he stay healthy enough to actually make a difference for the Miami Dolphins? But at that kind of price tag, you're not breaking the bank to get him in there, and it's worth the $8.5 million just to see if he can do, in fact, can kind of be that extra target, that kind of go-to third down, maybe out of the slot, and not make it all about Tyreek Hill, which might be very difficult given the status of that offensive line for the Miami Dolphins looking ahead to next season. But we do have some NBA playoff games coming up here tonight. We also have to figure out what's going on tonight in Major League Baseball. A huge slate of games getting ready to get underway here, beginning this hour into next hour. Of course, Baltimore, the Orioles just continue to run teams over. Boy, they're looking good, and all the reinforcements seem to be coming back here. Hunter Green on the mound for Cincinnati is going to try and slow down the bats of the Baltimore Orioles here tonight. Good luck with that, Hunter Green. We'll see if he can actually get that done. We did have a game earlier this afternoon. Stop me if you've heard this before. The Chicago Cubs can't score runs, even at home, as they went ahead and lost once again at home here to the Milwaukee Brewers, this time 3-1. Injuries are really starting to take their toll on the Chicago Cubs. We also have an interesting one at Citizens Bank Ballpark coming up this hour, 6:40. The Giants taking on the Phillies here. Aaron Nola, who has been downright unhittable as of late here, on the mound for the Phils, taking on Hicks for the Giants. I like this spot here for the Giants and Hicks here. This could be one of those dogs that you wish you played on a Friday heading into the weekend. I would definitely keep an eye on the Giants here tonight against the Phillies. And then, of course, the Rockies and the Pirates, a series nobody asked for, followed by the Blue Jays, the Nationals, the Mets taking on the Rays. Somebody explain to me why the Tampa Bay Rays are a favorite over anybody. I'll wait. Actually, we'll try to figure that out a little bit later, though, as Tampa having a go a bit with Savali on the mound, taking on Quintana for the Mets. We've got plenty of Major League Baseball. We got plenty of NBA games to break down, and we'll do that with the coach, James Young, coming up here on Game Time Decisions.
Put $100 on the parlay for $1,500. I'd say, okay, I could take the ass, even though I wouldn't do it. So, long story short, guys, I'm sweating out this Jet game. I got $1,400 on the Jets, which I didn't really think would happen, to be honest, because I didn't believe in the Leafs winning tonight.
It doesn't matter. The Angels suck with Ohtani and Trout. It's just they're a bad team, but it would be nice if they could get some pieces. But who's going to? They could have got rid of Trout a long time ago and stockpiled picks, but that ship has sailed.
Sports Rage Late Night, only on SportsGrid.
Quotes coming out about Embiid. Oh, he's a warrior. You'll never get him off the court. You're just telling me he's an injury. He's one slip and fall away from what's not seeing him anymore in this series.
I would have sat him because there was only 1 day between the two games. It's 2 days between games 2 and games 3, and it's 2 days between games 3 and game 4.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Time Decisions on this Friday as the headlines continue to roll in. We've got NBA playoff basketball coming up tonight. Will there be a Game 7 in the first round? We got two teams are going to try to make that happen tonight. The Orlando Magic at home taking on the Cleveland Cavs. And then, of course, a little later, the LA Clippers battling for their playoff lives here. Can they get it back to a final seventh game in LA? So much to break down and nobody better to do it with than our good friend, Coach James Young. Now, Coach, I told the guys behind the scenes I wouldn't do this, but a lot of rumors, a lot of talking right now that you apparently have an interview with the Lakers this week to be the next head coach. Is there any truth to you meeting with Rob Pelinka and LeBron this week here? Any truth to that at all?
Well, first things first. Listen, if the Lakers are going to call me, I'll listen. The only problem is I don't want the head coach job. I want Rob Pelinka's job. I mean, listen, and you know what? Let's just cut to the chase here. How does this guy have a job still? I mean, the guy that gave D'Angelo Russell a bag, the guy that wouldn't trade D'Angelo Russell last year after the playoff, after the bad, the one that thinks Rui Hachimura, who got run out of the Wizards, was an answer at power forward, the one that got Gabe Vincent and then made sure they didn't play him, the one that drafted Hutchafino in the first round last year, the one that signed Christian Wood, who doesn't want to be there, the one that got Jackson Hayes, who can't get off the bench, the one that got Cam Reddish. You get my point here? Like, you're looking at this team and you're like, how in God's green earth? It's like him, Sean Marks. Am I missing something? Like, and it's amazing because Darvin Ham, I get it. Like, he was not an upper echelon coach. Maybe he needed to surround himself with better assistants. I get it. But at what point do you start looking at Rob Pelinka and being like, you're kind of the one? Now, you may say this is LeBron's lackey, he's LeBron's boy. I get it. But at the end of the day, how does Rob Pelinka have no one's looking at him like, bro, your team. And here's the thing, folks. They're going to go after a big-name coach. What are they going to do when LeBron's done in like a year or two?
Mm-hmm.
And think about this. Hey, let's say they bring in a big-name coach. Are they better than the Thunder next year? No. Are they better than Minnesota next year? No. Are they better than Denver next year? No. Are they better than Dallas next year? No. New Orleans has better young talent than them and should be better, right? You got to watch for a team like the Rockets, who look great at times. Can they take the next step, right? Then you got to look at a team like Sacramento, who failed down the stretch partially because of the injuries to Huerter and Monk. They may be better, right? And then there's the ultimate wild card, which is the Memphis Grizzlies, who get everybody back, and maybe John gets his head on straight, and they're going to be better. So they're going to go bring in his whole brand new head coach and make a splashy hire. I mean, what, like 6th or 7th in the West? Come on now. Get rid of Rob Pelinka and start over.
Yeah, well, I wish it would happen that way, but LeBron likes Rob. So apparently what LeBron wants, LeBron gets here, Coach, and we all know this. Some of the names that have been rumored with this are just priceless, as if Ty Lue is going to walk down the hall from the Clippers to go now coach the Lakers, who blew him off and wouldn't give him enough money or a long-term deal when they tried to get him a couple of years ago. So he ended up with the Clippers instead, and now he's going to go to the Lakers? I don't think so. Mike Budenholzer is another name being floated out, and my all-time favorite is got to be J.J. Redick is somehow now in consideration for a head coaching gig. Come on.
LeBron, the guy that's just started a podcast with LeBron?
Yes, that's him. Yes.
I will say this, and I'll go through these really quickly. Number one, Mike Budenholzer. I wonder about that because his team's flamed out so many times in the playoffs. But at some point, I'm starting to wonder, is it Budenholzer or is it Giannis?
Yes.
That's a discussion for another day, right?
Mm-hmm.
You go to Ty Lue. I love Ty Lue. I think Ty Lue is one of the 5 best coaches in the league. And he may be looking at the Clippers and saying, all right, so Kawhi signs his extension, and as soon as he signs his extension, end of the year, his knee is like the gem there, is bad. So we don't know if this is going to get better. Paul George could have signed an extension. Can't agree with his extension when he should be getting the max. There's only rumors that he may be out of there, maybe heading to Philadelphia. James Harden is, I do believe, a free agent at the end of this year. Russell Westbrook is washed. And you can go across the way and go coach with LeBron. So to me, money walks. And you know what? Money walks, and the other one, money talks, bull walks. So let's see about Ty Lue. JJ Redick, I will say this. Is he ready to be a head coach? Probably not. But I will say this. As someone who watches basketball and listens to basketball, he may be one of the only ex-players that I actually can listen to him talk basketball. Like, I like what JG does. Besides the fact that I think he disrespects the older players, he knows what he's talking about. He's better than, the rest. Some of these other guys, Charles Barkley, don't know what he's talking about. Although he made a great point today yesterday about blaming Rob Pelinka and not so much the coach. So, interesting names, but you know what it is? It's like it's the LeBron network. How can we keep LeBron in front of the headlines? I know. Let's fire the coach. Let's talk about rumors for coaches for the next 6 days. And honestly, I'm already sick of it.
I got a name for you, Coach. You're going to love this, too, and we'll talk about this when we get back and dive into the games tonight.
It better not be Tibbs.
You and I talked about
it. Better not. It better not be
no.
Tibbs. Don't take my Tibbs.
No.
I'm a Tibbs
We
guy.
talked about this guy, and he left in a blaze of glory when Terry Stotts didn't get the job in Milwaukee, and he gave them the double bird and said, I'm out of here. Looks like he might have seen a little something that nobody else did. We'll talk about that next.
Put $100 on the parlay for $1,500. I'd say, okay, I could take the ass, even though I wouldn't do it. So, long story short, guys, I'm sweating out this Jet game now. I got $1,400 on the Jets, which I didn't really think would happen, to be honest, because I didn't believe in the Leafs winning tonight.
It doesn't matter. The Angels suck with Ohtani and Trout. It's just they're a bad team, but it would be nice if they could get some pieces. But they could have got rid of Trout a long time ago and stockpiled picks, but that ship has sailed.
Sports Rage Late Night, only on SportsGrid.
Quotes coming out about Embiid. Oh, he's a warrior. You'll never get him off the court. You're just telling me he's an injury. He's one slip and fall away from what's not seeing him anymore in this series.
I would have sat him because there was only 1 day between the two games. It's 2 days between games 2 and games 3, and it's 2 days between games 3 and game 4.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think GameTime Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to GameTime Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than GameTime Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into GameTime Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in. Game Time Decisions here on the SportsGrid Network as we've got a loaded slate of action here tonight on this Friday. Joe Raineri alongside Coach James Young. We're getting ready for a couple of Game 6s. Will there be a Game 7? We'll get the coach's thoughts on that here. But with the news and the firing of one Darvin Ham there of the Lakers, that mean that position is available. And, Coach, I'm going to throw just a couple of more names at you here. One of them is going to be, you're going to love this. How about Juwan Howard, Terry Stotts, or my favorite of all time, how about Atkinson? What do you think here, Coach? How about those retreads? You like any of those?
Listen, no. but I will say this, and I'm being honest. If I am a young team in the NBA, and I've said this ad nauseum on this network, I would go get Kenny Atkinson. Kenny Atkinson did a great job with that young Nets core, a Nets core that after he won and got KD, then they ran him out of town. KD ran him out of town. And he established culture. He developed the Spencer Dinwiddies. He developed the Jared Allens. He developed the Karis LeVerts, right? He developed the D'Angelo Russell. He does a great job with young teams. So if I am a young team that needs a coach, Charlotte, I would call right away and try to get Kenny Atkinson. I think it would be great with a young rebuilding team. Honestly, you know who got it wrong? Detroit. When they gave the job to Monty Williams, should have gave the job to Kenny Atkinson. They should have gave the job to Kenny Atkinson. And it's amazing, like, that's another situation now in Phoenix, right? Because, we don't know what's going to happen with Frank Vogel. Like, that's another guy that I want to talk about really quick. And I'm not talking about James Jones. I'm talking about Matt Ishbia, who is like James Dolan on steroids, meaning like drunken sailor, spending money, tries to build his team like it's NBA 2K. Okay, I'm going to put this superstar with this superstar and this superstar, and because I got 3 superstars, I'm going to win myself a title. Boy, was he wrong. And now they only have draft night. That's all right, folks. Hey, we're Phoenix. We're going to run it back. On draft night, we can give you our first-round pick and the pick in 2031. Way to go, Phoenix. We're building ourselves a contender.
Nope. I'm buying it. So I can tell you it's probably going to be a retread because LeBron's going to have to sign off on him, or it's going to be somebody obscure with absolutely zero coaching experience that ultimately is going to be used as a scapegoat one way or the other. Good news is they get to hang out with Bronny because they're going to get to know Bronny really well, since that's eventually happening here also, Coach. But before we dive into the X and O's here, go ahead.
Because the rumor that's running around like the Northeast is the newest one because Bronny's in the portal, there's been rumblings a little bit that he could be interested in Villanova and maybe LeBron goes to Philadelphia. Oh, I mean, listen, folks. It's absolutely absurd.
It's a soap opera
going around. Oh, what? Like sands in an hourglass. So are the days of our lives, and this is the days of our life. While we have 2 game 6s, right? We have such a great matchup with New York and Indiana. We have a matchup that I think is going to be so great between Minnesota and Denver, right? Like, or can the Celtics win their championship? How good is Oklahoma City? And it's not Joe's fault. It's not my fault. Like, LeBron just took over. LeBron just damn hijacked 2 segments from us. Like, this is what this guy does. But you know what? I'm putting an end to it right now. When we come out of the commercial break, there's no more LeBron James. I ain't talking about him no more. I want to talk game 6. And I know Kofsky's going to get mad at me. But I'm going to say anyway, we got to talk about my Knicks. We got to talk about Joe Raineri's Knicks. I don't care what they're saying over here. We're talking Knicks basketball because the Knicks are back. And I'm not a fraud like Stephen A. Smith. I love the Knicks every day of my life.
How many people would Juwan Howard smack in the Lakers?
put $100 on the parlay for 1,500. I said, okay, I could take the ass, even though I wouldn't do it. So long story short, guys, I'm sweating out this Jet game. I got $1,400 on the Jets, which I didn't really think would happen, to be honest, because I didn't believe in the Leafs winning tonight.
It doesn't matter. The Angels suck with Ohtani and Trout. It's just they're a bad team, but it would be nice if they could get some pieces. But who's going to – they could have got rid of Trout a long time ago and stockpiled picks, but that ship has sailed.
Sports Rage Late Night, only on SportsGrid.
Quotes coming out about Embiid. Oh, he's a warrior. You'll never get him off the court. You're just telling me he's an injury. He's one slip and fall away from what's not seeing him anymore in this series.
I would have sat him because there was only 1 day between the 2 games. It's 2 days between games 2 and games 3, and it's 2 days between games 3 and game 4.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think GameTime Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to GameTime Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than GameTime Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into GameTime Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in here. Game Time Decisions on the SportsGrid Network. Joe Raineri, joined by the coach, James Young, here as we're getting ready for a couple of Game 6s tonight in the NBA. The Knicks were nice enough to handle business, avoided Game 7 last night. Kudos. Same thing with the Pacers. They handled their business, eliminating the Milwaukee Bucks. Now the question is, can we trust Cleveland on the road to get it done, or the Clippers to get it done on the road and extend this series? Bottom line, coach, is which one of these 2 games gives us the best chance of getting one more in a Game 7?
Very simple. It's a game that's tipping off first, and that's your Orlando Magic. An Orlando Magic team that, if you really look at it, folks, if they literally just played better, Joe, in the first half, they could have won games 1 and games 2. I mean, they literally could have won it. They got outscored by 12 and 14 in the first half of game 1 and game 2, right? Game 3, game 4, they go off. I took Orlando plus the points in the first half, Orlando plus the game 5. They covered. They're settling in. I have not ever been a big fan of J.B. Bickerstaff and the Cleveland Cavaliers. I haven't. And I'm not going to change now. I like what Jamal Mosley has done. I think Paulo Banchero has a huge game tonight. I am going to go with the Orlando Magic minus the 3.5. I said before this series started that this was going 7. I said the Knicks were going 6. I'm not changing now. This is going to be 7 games. Give me the Orlando Magic minus the 3.5. And then also, Wendell Carter Jr. You're like, wait a minute. Coach is picking Wendell Carter Jr. to make a 3? Folks, 11 out of his last 15 games, he's made a 3. Okay? 6 out of his last 9 versus Cleveland, he's made a 3. And he's being guarded by Jared Allen, who will not come out to the 3-point line to defend him, so he's going to get a couple of clean looks. Give me Wendell Carter Jr.
Let me just tell you this here, Coach. Hold on. Jared Allen has just been ruled out. Jared Allen is not playing tonight. So he is now out. So
And how much has the line? How much has the line moved? Oh God!
That's what I'm waiting to see. We're up. We're up to 4 now. It looks like 4. Just 4s are popping up across the board.
4.5. 4.5 on FanDuel. So click it or ticket.
Gotta go.
Gotta
That's
go.
right.
Train done left the station.
Gotta go.
Jump on now.
Yep.
I do like when the card hit a 3. And I also think that also opens up to me what you may want to look at is Paulo Banchero's points props at 24.5 at FanDuel at plus money. Why? What happens is, think about it, folks. Mobley goes to center. Who's guarding Paulo? George's Niang? Oh, George's Niang is stopping Paulo? Paulo Banchero over 24.5 points at plus money. Run to the window, take that as well.
And I'll tell you this, too, interestingly enough, the Magic total, 101.5 team total. Cavaliers, 98.5. This thing is hovering around 200, Coach. No Jared Allen is interesting, not necessarily from an offensive perspective, but certainly from maybe a defensive and rebounding perspective here. Orlando, if you like them to win, they're getting more than 100 points, are they not?
Absolutely. So I think when you look at it, if you don't want to play the over, then right now the over for Orlando Magic right now is at 102.5. So I think that's something that I would really look at is that 102.5 number, because I think this is a one that they're going to probably get 107, 108. So if you really think about it, folks, if you take away games 1 and games 2, they've scored 121, 112, and 104. 103.
Yep.
So basically, they just got to do, Joe, what they did the last 3 games, and they go over this. And then if you think about the fact that I like Paulo Banchero to go over 24.5 points, that's got to correlate because that's their best score, their best rebounder. They slide over. George's Niang, not a strong defender. 24.5 points, Paulo Banchero. Team total over 102.5 for Orlando tonight.
Yeah, Coach, I love that. I love that look here. And we do got to love that line moving right here on air with us right now with no Jared Allen. But what did we do? You were pretty adamant about Cleveland, Orlando going 2-7, but not so much with Clippers and Dallas here tonight?
Oh, no, this is over. This is over. This is over.
No.
If you think about it, Joe, they lose game number 4, in which Luka had an absolute stinker. And then Luka comes over, my knee hurts. Oh, I got the flu. Oh, I got a sinus infection. Oh, I got a headache from listening to Scott Farrell. I don't know what he had, but he turned around and almost got a triple-double. And now you don't want to play with your food. You don't want this to go back, right? No Kawhi. And the thing that people need to understand this with Kawhi, and people need to understand this, as much as he impacts their offense, he's also their best defender. And now you're looking at Kawhi not playing. Who's going to stop arguably the best offensive backcourt in the NBA and Kyrie and Luka, who are taking turns going off? They haven't gone off together yet in a couple of games. I think it's tonight. Give me the Dallas Mavericks minus the points, and then I'm going to go Derek Lively Jr., or the second, I should say, the rookie out of Duke, over 5.5 rebounds, over 9 of his last 15 games. Daniel Gafford's minutes are going down. His is going up because he's doing a good job of neutralizing Ivica Zubac on the boards. Derek Lively the second, over 5.5 rebounds tonight.
So I got to think, I saw Harden's number at 19.5. Outside of that disgustingness we just saw in the last game, he had been certainly getting his shots. As long as he's got the volume, it comes down to it, Coach. Harden's, if they're down in the second half, he's never met a shot he didn't like to take. So by default, he's probably getting 20 points.
Oh, yeah, I would think so. And then there's still, folks, the best bet on the card, if you can find it. Go shopping around. If you can find a Russell Westbrook turnover prop.
Oh, turnover, yes.
What we call the Pat Foster special. We did this on Batter a couple of weeks ago. If there is a 1.5 Russ, because of obviously no Kawhi, more minutes, let Russ cook, let Russ burn food. over turnover prop for Russell Westbrook.
Love that. Now, let's take a look here ahead. How many games do the Pacers end up beating the Knicks in? 6? 5? What are you betting there? No?
Well,
Did I get that
sorry.
wrong?
It's static in my ear.
I'm sorry.
I thought you said that the Knicks are beating the Pacers, so that's what I thought you said. I like the Knicks to win I like the Knicks to win in 6 games. I think they will try and play this game at their pace. But I do think it's going to get up and down a little bit. Neither team particularly deep, but I do think New York has got a little bit more defensive tenacity, and they play playoff basketball, which means they literally bully you on the boards. And how they bully you with a small forward who plays power forward and a small forward who probably will lead the series in rebounding. That's a 2-guard. I don't get it. Knicks in 6.
Are you thinking 7 games for Minnesota and Denver?
Oh, I think this is going to be a classic. This is going to be an absolute classic. And I think Denver wins in 7 games, but this will be here. But I will say this. I can't wait to see what Ant Edwards does because KCP ain't got no chance in hell of checking that kid.
Well, they've already anointed him the greatest basketball player of this generation. We'll see if he lives up to that. Coach, enjoy the game here, my man. Game time decision. What? LeBron? Or maybe you can coach LeBron.
Put $100 on the parlay for 1,500. I'd say, okay, I could take the ass, even though I wouldn't do it. So, long story short, guys, I'm sweating out this Jet game. I got $1,400 on the Jets, which I didn't really think would happen, to be honest, because I didn't believe in the Leafs winning tonight.
It doesn't matter. The Angels suck with Ohtani and Trout. It's just they're a bad team, but it would be nice if they could get some pieces. But they could have got rid of Trout a long time ago and stockpiled picks, but that ship has sailed.
Sports Rage Late Night, only on SportsGrid.
Quotes coming out about Embiid. Oh, he's a warrior. You'll never get him off the court. You're just telling me he's an injury. He's one slip and fall away from not seeing him anymore in this series.
I would have sat him because there was only 1 day between the 2 games. It's 2 days between games 2 and games 3, and it's 2 days between games 3 and game 4.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think GameTime Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to GameTime Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than GameTime Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into GameTime Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in. Game Time Decisions here on the Sports Grid Network. We go from the hardwood to the ice. You got to love the playoffs this time of year, and we've got a couple of more here in the NHL. Nobody better than George Kurtz to tell us what could have been for the New York Islanders. Unfortunately, they are no longer in the playoffs here, Kurtz. But the good news is the Predators are somehow still alive. They should have won this series already, but that's a story for a different day. They are at home here. They got away, got one back. Now it's the Vancouver Canucks with a third-string goalie. Is it over here for the Canucks? Do the Predators get another one? What are you thinking here?
I think we're going to Game 7. So yeah, I think I'm going to take the Preds to win here at home. I think it's a good spot for them. I think what Vancouver's done has been almost pretty amazing, Joe. Right, going down to your third-string goalie and still winning. Right, you won Game 1 with Saros. You've won with you won Game 1 with Demko. You won Casey Smith, and you're winning with Arthur Solovs. I mean, it's just fantastic what they're doing here. That being said, you got to think the Magic's going to run out at some point. It's not like this third-string goalie was like, oh, he's a star in the making here. We're just burying him here. No, he is what he is. He's a third-string goalie, but playing pretty well here. Nashville's at home. Got to take care of business here. I'm not saying they'd win a Game 7 in Vancouver, but I think they'll take care of business tonight here. So yes, give me the Preds tonight.
I got to be an under too, George. No, every one of these games comes down to a last-minute goal, and that's it. I mean, the defenses have been phenomenal. Vancouver's done a great job of protecting the kid, but this is not going to be a shootout. Am I missing something here?
No, I agree with you. I'm on the under as well. My only worry is, in elimination games, if they're down 3-2, third period, they're going to pull the goalie early, right? 6 minutes and oh, great. Yeah. Here come the empty net goals. You don't care if you lose 3-2 or 9-2. Doesn't make a difference. You're going home either way here. So that's my only worry when you take overs and unders in elimination games. That, boy, you really want that team to be winning handily, 4-1 with maybe not pull the goal here. So that's my only worry there. So I think it's an under. I can't see it being a high score game. Now unless once again, Salas realizes, oh yeah, I am a third string goalie and he's terrible here, but I don't see that happening. Preds aren't really that built to really score 5-6 goals.
Yeah, it feels like it's going to be 0-0 heading into the third again. And good luck. Next goal wins. Should be interesting. But how about the late game here tonight? The champs. Is it time to book tea time here, or what do you think here with Vegas?
Yeah, I think they're going to go right next to the Islanders, right? And get that good tea time early in the morning. Yeah, Dallas has been the better team. We know they're not afraid to play in Vegas, right? They won the last 2 games in Vegas. This series probably should already be over. They shouldn't have lost those not both those games at home, games 1 and 2 there. They've been the better team. They're the faster team. And I think Vegas is a good team, but I think what we're seeing is what we thought might happen here. They're not quite gelling yet. This is why everybody wants Vegas gone out of the playoffs, because they should only get better as it goes along here. They stole 2 games. Congrats to them. But Dallas has been the better team for most of the season here. I think they still are. They're not even hitting on all cylinders yet. I said we've yet to hear from Pavelski. Ruby Hintz, I think, had an empty net goal. Congratulations there. But, this team still has more to give here. Jake Ottinger has not let in a goal in the third period or overtime yet. That's pretty good. Give me Dallas Stars in this game to end it.
Wow. Feels like an over, though. What are you thinking? Feels like goals, and more goals, because I don't Dallas would have to rattle off 4 straight against the champs. So is that something you're buying here, really? And it feels like it ain't going to be a 2-1 game, I don't think, here. Are you leaning towards the under?
I don't feel a 2-1 game either. What's over here is 5.5. It was 6.5. I wouldn't touch it, but 5.5 minus 118. I think we can get. Listen, I think we're going to be right on the number. 3-2 sounds like the score going into the last 5 minutes of the game here. All right, that's what I think it is. So we'll need the empty netter. And once again, teams that are being eliminated, they'll pull the goalie early. So Dallas theoretically would have a long time to get that empty netter, or Vegas has a long time to tie the game up. Which case, hey, we won. What do we care? As a fan, I want Game 7. I want another Game 7 here. I don't think we're going to get it. I think Dallas wins. I have no problem going with the over. I think goals could come here as well, but this is not going to be an Edmonton game. We're not going to get an 8-4 game here. I don't see that. But would 4-3 surprise me? Not in the least.
Were you shocked at all that they went with Hill on the road and threw him into that spot there? Because, man, those first couple of goals look real rusty to me. In that Game 5. I mean, what do you think here? Did they make the right call in that game, Vegas?
I don't think they had a choice, Joe. I mean, if you watch the first couple of games, Logan Thompson, not only was he going down early, he was staying down. You don't see, it was almost like you're playing street hockey. Like when an adult plays against kids in street hockey, the adult just plays on his knees, to give the kids a chance. Yeah. That's what it reminded me of. that he was down automatically. They were shooting high. They were trying to bank it off his head. They hit him in the head several times. I also wonder if he's a little dinged up, a little bit of concussion there, which went through my mind a couple of times. But I don't think they had a choice here. I think Thompson's just a little bit out of sync as far as his playing style. Like I said, all goalies go down. That's what they do here. Take away the low ice, make the players shoot high. But he was staying down, and Dallas knew it. They knew it. They were shooting high from every angle they could find, right? Including on the goal line, and they were scoring goals that way. So I don't think they had a choice. I think Logan Thompson was just a little bit off in his mechanics.
Chance that this goes to overtime. That's not a bad prop here either.
I probably like that more of a Nashville game. Nashville-Vancouver, I feel better about it going.
Okay.
Because that could be a 1-1, 2-2 game, right? We wouldn't be surprised here. If we expect more goals in this game, which we both do, it's hard to get to OT in 3-3, 4-4. Not that it can't happen, but it's harder to get to OT that way. So if I'm going to play the overtime prop, I'm probably going to go more of a Nashville-Vancouver way here. Because I think for Dallas and Vegas to get there, we need a 2-2 game, right, to get there. And I don't know if I kind of feel more goals are coming tonight. I think we're going to get our over tonight in the Dallas game. 3-3 could happen here. Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked, but I feel better than Nashville-Vancouver as far as an OT game.
Yeah, could very well, not like extra Stanley Cup playoff hockey, which could very well happen here. The champs are on the ropes. Will they be able to survive and get one more? It's going to be a fascinating night on the NHL ice, that's for sure, because we also have maybe the ultimate of all ultimates. Game 7 coming up. Who saw that coming, huh? Oh, boy. All right, don't go over there, Kurtz. I want to get your thoughts on that Game 7. And are the Yankees ever going to win another game? We'll talk about it next here on The Grid.
Put $100 on the parlay for $1,500. I'd say, okay, I could take the ass, even though I wouldn't do it. So, long story short, guys, I'm sweating out this Jet game. I got $1,400 on the Jets, which I didn't really think would happen, to be honest, because I didn't believe in the Leafs winning tonight.
It doesn't matter. The Angels suck with Ohtani and Trout. It's just they're a bad team, but it would be nice if they could get some pieces. But who's going to? They could have got rid of Trout a long time ago and stockpiled picks, but that ship has sailed.
Sports Rage Late Night, only on SportsGrid.
Quotes coming out about Embiid. Oh, he's a warrior. You'll never get him off the court. You're just telling me he's an injury. He's one slip and fall away from what's not seeing him anymore in this series.
I would have sat him because there was only 1 day between the two games. It's 2 days between games 2 and games 3, and it's 2 days between games 3 and game 4.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think GameTime Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to GameTime Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than GameTime Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into GameTime Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in here. Game Time Decisions on this Friday on the Sports Grid Network. George Kurtz closing out the hour with us. And Kurtz, there is nothing better than a Game 7 in the Stanley Cup playoffs, and we've got one. And boy, it's going to be a doozy here. We got the Bruins, we got Toronto. Who's moving on to take on the Panthers?
Remember, Boston last year choked against your Florida Panthers, right?
Yep.
3-1. Couldn't close them out 3 straight games. This is now 5 straight games. They have not been able to close somebody out. Listen, I had my original pick was Toronto in 7. I'm not going away from it. And I mean, I think you can't. I mean, they're not a better team without Austin Matthews, are they? Aren't they? They're not. You can't be. But they're winning without him. And remember, they played the first couple of games of the series without William Nylander. So Boston's got the ultimate of ultimate breaks. A couple of games without William, a couple of games without Austin, and yet you are where you are here. And come on, it doesn't matter if you like hockey or not. Hockey, basketball, baseball, football, whatever. I guess not football. They don't play 7-game series. Back-to-back years, you're choking. There's no way in hell you're not thinking about it. There's no way you're not gripping that stick a little tighter. You know, it's the Boston media. Now he's not the friendliest media on the planet. You know, they're all over him. What's going on here? 2 years in a row. Why can't you close them out? Why can't you do this? Toronto always chokes. Now you're choking. Every kind of question you can imagine here. I think all Toronto has to do is score first. Just score first. And I think Boston, I think they'll grip those sticks into dust. Into dust here. All right, past that, it's been almost invisible the last 4 or 5 games. Marchand's done some damage, but still, this was the problem with Boston. If you shut down with 2 big guys, who's going to step up? Right? They lost Patrice Bergeron. They lost David Krejci. You know, we haven't heard from anybody else. Give me Toronto tomorrow. I know Toronto's chokers as well. There's sort of no way to go here, right? No way to go. We'll make Cam Stewart happy. We're sticking with Toronto. Go Cam.
You are giving an awful lot of credit. If it was literally anybody else, I'd be with you. But it's Toronto who's got their own issues of closing teams out here. So, but hey, nothing like a Game 7. Tonight, Major League Baseball, we've got some interesting matchups. They're underway in Tampa. I don't know why the Mets were an underdog in this game. And the Yankees and Stroman taking on Detroit here. Can they score enough to actually win a game here tonight?
Listen, I mean, the Yankees scored 36 runs in that 3-game series against Milwaukee. Then they scored 6 in a 4-game series in Baltimore. I mean, I know Baltimore's pitching staff is better, but Corbin Burns only pitched one of those games. Okay, the Yankees usually hit. So they got Kramer. They have his ERA against the Yankees was over 5. They couldn't touch him. All right, Bradish comes back from the injury, couldn't touch him. You know, it's just Grayson Rodriguez pitched okay on Monday night. Then he goes on the IL here. Yankees aren't hitting. That's the bottom line. They aren't. And you know, for the love of God, Judge is not hitting. We can all see that. Maybe move him out of the 3 spot. All right, do something. Act like you're paying attention here. You know, put him in front of Soto. And I don't care if he bats first, by the way. Not like Volpe's doing anything in the number 1 spot. Torres stunk it up in the number 1 spot earlier. Move. Try something different to get things going here instead of using the same thing over and over again. We all know what Judge is going to do. Strike out or a double play. It's all he's been doing every time here. You got to try and break him out of the slump here. Let's see if the Yankees change it up tonight. I don't even have to look who's pitching for Detroit, by the way, because it doesn't matter. They're not hitting anybody. Other than for some reason, Miller Park in Milwaukee, they destroyed. I don't know why that is. I guess they like hitting there. Do I have much faith in the Yankees tonight? No, they might win the game, but I'm taking the under.
Yeah, I got it's. You know, they said that maybe he'll swap out Soto and Judd, maybe rotate. What's the difference?
I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't move Soto from 2. He's the one guy who's hitting.
I wouldn't.
Don't move Soto.
Yep.
Move Judge. Don't move Soto. Put Judge
correct.
at 1. Put Judge before Soto. See if that changes. Maybe he gets better pitches to hit. Although, as a Yankee fan watching the game, he's had pitches to hit, Joe. He's just not hitting them. I mean, they're right there. He's just not connecting.
He's missing them. Yep, he's missing them. And they and the pitchers seem to know it, which makes it even worse here tonight. Late night game, Dodger Braves, 9.5 is a total with Charlie Morton on the mound. Just feels like an over.
You know, Morton's been pretty solid. Stone's pretty solid here. I think this is a little high. I got 9 now, so it went down to 9. Apparently, I'm not the only person who thinks that. So it was 9.5 earlier. So 9 scares me a little bit. That's 5-4, 6-3. I think this is a close game here. Stone's been like I said, you sort of need one to implode. Who's going to be the one to implode here? I like the Dodgers to win the game here. I kind of think I wanted the under till 9.5. Now I do lean the over at 9. I think it is that close here. We might have to land right on the number here, but I do like the Dodgers tonight.
There we go. George Kurtz, as always, my man, absolute pleasure. Great hockey tonight. We got some great baseball, and we got another hour of Game Time Decisions coming up next here on the grid. Kurtz, cash those tickets.
$100 on the parlay for 1,500. I'd say, okay, I could take the ass, even though I wouldn't do it. So long story short, guys, I'm sweating out this Jet game. I got $1,400 on the Jets, which I didn't really think would happen, to be honest, because I didn't believe in the Leafs winning tonight.
It doesn't matter. The Angels suck with Ohtani and Trout. It's just they're a bad team, but it would be nice if they could get some pieces. But they could have got rid of Trout a long time ago and stockpiled picks, but that ship has sailed.
Sports Rage Late Night, only on SportsGrid.
Quotes coming out about Embiid. Oh, he's a warrior. You'll never get him off the court. You're just telling me he's an injury. He's one slip and fall away from not seeing him anymore in this series.
I would have sat him because there was only 1 day between the two games. It's 2 days between games 2 and games 3, and it's 2 days between games 3 and game 4.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think GameTime Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to GameTime Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than GameTime Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into GameTime Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in. Game Time Decisions here on the Sports Grid Network, often running here, hour number 2. And we've got plenty going on right now. Opening tip in the all-important Game 6 in the NBA playoffs with the Cleveland Cavaliers trying to do something that has been extremely rare in this series, and that's win a road game, because the Orlando Magic have been darn good at home in this series. Not just this series, they've been darn good at home all year long. The problem is, well, if it goes to a Game 7, and there are certainly some that think it's going to hold true here in this, where just bet the home teams, well, it's got to go back to Cleveland for a Game 7 if that's the case. So if this holds true, Cleveland might not be a bad look, but we do know that there is no Jared Allen tonight in the lineup for the Cavs. That line has moved up to 4.5, and we've seen the total also begin to move up. A little less interior defense now with no Jared Allen on the court for the Cavs. So I am seeing now 201.5, even a 202 beginning to pop up in the marketplace. So that tells me they're expecting some points. I do think still the Orlando team total is worth a look at 101.5, 102.5. I do think that if you like Orlando to win, then you're going to like them to score more than 100 points in this one here. And I think that's more than capable. We had Coach James Young on earlier last hour. He too, he and I are in agreement that Boncaro, without Allen in the lineup, is poised to have himself a pretty big night here. So you may want to look at maybe jumping on a little points, rebounds, and assists, go over that number. If not, 24.5 is his point total. He should clear that here, as he is really starting to come into his own. Very young Orlando team, but a team that is really starting to feel it here. And I do think if it wasn't for the poor starts here in a couple of these games in Cleveland, Orlando might have already won this series. But Donovan Mitchell, Garland and company, LeVert, these guys got to step up, and they got to make some buckets here. So that game is getting ready to go. And don't forget here, Donovan Mitchell had a big fourth quarter in Tuesday night's win 14 of his 28 points came from there. If he doesn't start strong here, and I think it's a must for the Cavs if they're going to make this thing a game, they need a big start and they need a big night from Donovan Mitchell. So he is a guy that I would look to back in the prop market as well here. In the night game tonight coming up, Game 6. How about it? You got yourself a Dallas team at home with a less than 100% Luka Doncic. But you know what? It really hasn't mattered. Why? Because Kyrie Irving is playing at an unbelievable level this season. And not just this season, in this series. And I believe it all started right after the All-Star break for Dallas. They got P.J. Washington. That lineup changed. Kyrie, I believe, is the perfect complement to Luka Doncic here, even without 100% Luka. And let it be known, in years past, if Luka was not 100% and he was banged up, which he has been in years past, we kind of stuck a fork in Dallas and was like, Dallas is not going to win. You know, the supporting cast is atrocious. Well, not this year. The supporting cast is the best that Doncic and Dallas has had forever, since I can remember with him. Now, mind you, he's still only 26 years old, but he's been in the league 6 years. So experience is there for Dallas to be at home and an opportunity to close out with, dare I say, a Hall of Famer like Kyrie, who's a little bit older now than he was back in the day with LeBron with the Cleveland Cavs when they won the ring there. He's a little bit older, a little wiser, and may just be the perfect guy for Luka, the perfect wingman, because this is a guy that single-handedly almost erased that 30-point deficit and almost won that game at home in Game 4. They bounced back great in Game 5. It's been a pretty good, profitable zigzag series. I am not running to the window to lay 8 with Dallas tonight. Even though I think they're the better team, I think they're the right side. I am not running to the window to lay 8. I think that's a huge number because they have still a whole lot of experience on the Clippers side there. Paul George and Harden, they're going to have opportunities to shoot some threes, just like they did in that Game 4. If you recall, after getting blown out in Game 3, well, they came back in Game 4 and came out on fire. I think if you want to back the Clippers, I think we backed them early in this game in the first half. I also think the first half total is not a bad look here because if the threes are falling, and I think they will be here, then get ready. We're going to have 102, I think, is the first half total, 102, 102 and a half. That might very well also fly over that. So opportunities presenting themselves. Kyrie points prop, also pretty good to look at here tonight at 24 and a half, I believe it is. James Harden, 19 and a half points is his prop. I don't see any way in which he doesn't bounce back and give us 20 in that one. We also have, of course, plenty of Major League Baseball getting ready. First pitch is already underway here. Citizens Bank Ballpark, Phillies and Giants knotted up at 0-0 here, top of the second. Aaron Nola on the mound, Hicks on the mound for the Giants. Did think this was a good under spot for these two pitchers here. 4.5 was the first 5 under. Thought that might be a good look. The Rockies and Pirates, nothing so far in that one. A pitcher's duel, not something we often say when we think about these two teams here, but nothing there. The Orioles and the Reds going to have a little bit of a weather issue at the Great American Ballpark. That game is on hold right now as they hope maybe clearer skies come through. Toronto has absolutely smashed the Nationals early. 4 hits in the first 2 innings with 3 runs. So they're on top of the Nats. And the Mets and the Rays. Savali on the mound for the Rays here. And the Mets were a pretty decent-sized dog in this one. Plus 135, plus 130. The Mets bats have started to wake up here a little bit. And the Rays, well, not been good for them. They can't be trusted. Nothing so far in that one in the bottom of the second inning. And we're all waiting for the Yankees to score runs. Well, we're still going to have to wait because they don't have any yet in this game either. But in their defense, it's still all in the top of the first inning at, Yankee Stadium there, taking on the Tigers here. Angels and Cardinals underway. The Angels have done a fantastic job of tanking. Can you tank in Major League Baseball? Because if you can, the Angels are doing just that. As Mike Trout's like, yeah, this team blows. I'm going to go on the IL. I'm going to have surgery or something, bionic arm, whatever he's doing. The reality is he was like, I don't feel like doing this for the whole year. So the Angels have promptly lost 10 of their last 11 games. And now they get to go on the road and take on one of the hottest teams in Major League Baseball here in the Guardians. Nothing here in that one. Plus money if you wanted to lay the 1.5 with the Guardians in this one here tonight. And we still have great games coming up late night here tonight. Pitchers battle, Mariners, Astros, Kirby taking on Blanco. That too coming up next hour. And who doesn't love an old-fashioned Atlanta Braves taking on the Dodgers? Could this be a World Series potential National League Championship preview? Could it be? Winner moves on to represent the National League? Might be here. You got Charlie Morton and Stone on the mound for the Dodgers and for Atlanta. That total starting to come down here a little bit from 9.5 to 9 now. Dodgers, pick 'em price here with the Braves. That should be a whole lot of fun. So plenty of Major League Baseball coming up, plenty of NHL. We got a couple of games here tonight. Game 7, maybe. We'll talk about it next year in Game Time Decisions.
Put $100 on the parlay for $1,500. I'd say, okay, I could take the ass, even though I wouldn't do it. So, long story short, guys, I'm sweating out this Jet game. I got $1,400 on the Jets, which I didn't really think would happen, to be honest, because I didn't believe in the Leafs winning tonight.
It doesn't matter. The Angels suck with Ohtani and Trout. It's just they're a bad team, but it would be nice if they could get some pieces. But who's going to? They could have got rid of Trout a long time ago and stockpiled picks, but that ship has sailed.
Sports Rage Late Night, only on SportsGrid.
Quotes coming out about Embiid. Oh, he's a warrior. You'll never get him off the court. You're just telling me he's an injury. He's one slip and fall away from what's not seeing him anymore in this series.
I would have sat him because there was only 1 day between the two games. It's 2 days between games 2 and games 3, and it's 2 days between games 3 and game 4.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Time Decisions on this Friday as we are off and running Major League Baseball. Mets with a 3-run bomb here to go up on the Tampa Bay Rays right now, bottom of the second there. Can't believe that the Yankees are nothing here. Shocker there, but Stroman got out of the top of the first without giving up a run. We'll see if the Yankees can do something. We're also along the lines of not being able to score. The Cavs and Magic underway. Still no score in that one. Shocker. And Mark Zinno knows all about expecting not a whole lot of points from maybe one or if not both of these teams tonight. in the all-important Game 6 here, Zin, in the NBA, the Magic, they've been money at home, dude. Are they money again sending this thing to a Game 7 tonight?
I think so.
Right.
I look at this and I go, this is a series. This is a series that felt like from the beginning that the home team was going to win every single game. And I was looking for this bottoming out. And we saw this last night with the Knicks, that this total was bottoming.
Hold on, we'll see if we can get the microphone is hold on. We'll get Zen out here in just a second because you got to love technology. It's wonderful when it works. We'll get him to refresh quick here, swap out that mic, and we should be good to go. But you're going to be shocked to know that the Cavaliers have actually scored a bucket, and we're only 2 minutes into the game. So it remains a 2-0 situation here. And the in-game total, too, dropping under 200, which is also an interesting number because I thought it would have closed at under 200, but I think it closed a little higher. We should say no Jared Allen in this one here, and the total went up a little bit, and so did the side. But are you buying the Magic to get it done in this one here? So we're still working to get Zeno in here. We'll get him back in just a minute. But this is, I do think, is going to be one of these games where if you like Orlando, the opportunity to hop on board and get their team total would be maybe the best way to approach this game. If you didn't want to lay the 4.5, which, by the way, they're still laying right now in this game. So still an opportunity for you to jump in if you have not done so. We're about 2 minutes in with a total of 6 points right now. 199, 198.5 is what we're starting to see. So boy, oh boy, this is going to be a bit of a rock fight here for a little while. But I do think ultimately Cleveland will figure out a way to get some points in this game with Spider Mitchell. And I do think Orlando is certainly going to get some points in this game at home, which they have done all season long. In fact, Orlando has been a cash cow against the number all season long here. And those that have been backing Orlando, you know exactly what we're talking about here. I mean, they have covered just about 70% of their games this season. They were just pure money. The market continued to undervalue them. I would like to say that maybe the market undervalued them heading into this series, which I kind of feel like they were. But they are down 3-2, and Mark Zeno back in it here. I felt like Orlando was a little undervalued. Do we trust them here to get this thing to a Game 7?
I do. I mean, look, they're a markedly better team at home than they are on the road. We know this, and we've seen it all season long. This is a team that shoots better than 53% from the field at home this year. And they've shot 53% from the field during the playoffs, or in this series, rather, at home in the 2 games they are. Again, I wonder why odds makers are bottoming out this total. Last night, Joe, I jumped in on this thing at 199 for it to go over, and which is especially weird considering both teams went over 100 in the same game for the first time in Game 5, and yet odds makers are now coming out and making the total the lowest it's been for the entire series. I don't see the regression coming. I think we see these teams get more comfortable with each other. I looked at the Magic team total over 101.5 here because simply my thought process is this. If the Magic don't score 100, they're likely not winning the game. Now, Cleveland could still win an over game, but I don't think the Magic can win an under game. So if Cleveland's defense is playing that well, the Magic are dead in the water because I don't think they're going to be able to just find a way to break through. Cleveland has shown their defense is that good. If somehow they put it together on the road, and the reason why the over scared me a little bit as opposed to the team total is because the Magic got 2 big leads in games 3 and 4 at home, and the pace slowed down, and it landed right at like 202, 204. So it was very close when there was such a blowout and the pace slowed down. So I looked at the Magic tonight with their team total over 101.5 here. If they don't get to 100, I think they're dead and the series is over.
Yeah, I agree with you. And quite honestly, if you like the over, both team totals, too. I think 97.5, 98.5 for the Cavs as well. I mean, I think they were all correlated there. No Jared Allen here tonight for Cleveland. I think that might have been some of the late money coming in up on the over, less rim protection, less rebounding. And Boncaro's a guy that just feasted without Jared Allen. Mobley's not going to defend him. It's just not going to happen here. He's going to get some points tonight as well.
Yeah, and again, I mean, you know, they'll push his points prop up. They'll juice it up just because of the matchup isn't there, and he's their main scorer. So I don't know if that's a playable market. But what you do is you look to the role players, right, on this team that are going to have to help Banchero get what he gets and try to be the benefactors if they try to double him. So that's the player prop angle, and you always take the role players at home, right?
Yep, always better at home than on the road here. And you know, I said it earlier, Spider Mitchell, you can't wait until the fourth quarter to erupt, dude. Not on the road. No. Like, if you're going to win this game, you got to bring it, and you got to bring it early and often in this game. And right now, we're 15-13 with about 6 minutes to go. So it is certainly trending to the over so far in this early one. We'll see if that can continue. Yeah, fingers crossed here. I don't think it's going to slow down anytime soon here. But we do have, of course, another opportunity in a Game 6 coming up a little bit later tonight that we'll dive into here, Zin, because you've got everybody else cleaned house, right? Knicks handled their business. Pacers handled their business in 6. Will this be a clean sweep in round 1 of series ending in 6? Will we get a Game 7? We'll ask you that when we get back, and who you like as Game Time Decisions continues.
Put $100 on the parlay for $1,500. I said, okay, I could take the ass, even though I wouldn't do it. So, long story short, guys, I'm sweating out this Jet game. I got $1,400 on the Jets, which I didn't really think would happen, to be honest, because I didn't believe in the Leafs winning tonight.
It doesn't matter. The Angels suck with Ohtani and Trout. It's just they're a bad team, but it would be nice if they could get some pieces. But who's going to? They could have got rid of Trout a long time ago and stockpiled picks, but that ship has sailed.
Sports Rage Late Night, only on SportsGrid.
Quotes coming out about Embiid. Oh, he's a warrior. You'll never get him off the court. You're just telling me he's an injury. He's one slip and fall away from what's not seeing him anymore in this series.
I would have sat him because there was only 1 day between the 2 games. It's 2 days between games 2 and games 3, and it's 2 days between games 3 and game 4.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Time Decisions here on the SportsGrid Network. So in addition to playoff basketball underway right now, playoff hockey coming up, plenty of Major League Baseball. It is, in fact, one of the biggest weekends in horse racing. Coming up is the 150th. Think about that, 150th Kentucky Derby. Take place tomorrow. And Dave Aragona joining us here from the Daily Racing Form. And David, welcome in, my man. It's always a great time of year. Kicks off the Triple Crown. We're all excited as long as the weather holds up here, because there is some concern that the forecast might make the track a little sloppy. Does it change that much? I know there's a new surface there, new dirt. So hopefully it's beautiful out, but you got to be prepared just in case it isn't.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to this exciting weekend in racing where the eyes of the sports world are on horse racing. Today, they ran the Kentucky Oaks for the fillies. It's sort of the female counterpart to the Kentucky Derby. And like you said, a lot of wet weather. It was a muddy track for the race. Hoping to have nicer weather tomorrow for the Kentucky Derby. And it does seem like the forecast is going to turn in a positive direction, warmer temperatures. Hopefully the sun comes out and you can dry out the racetrack a little bit so there's a fast, fair surface for everybody.
Yeah, nobody likes to go to Churchill and get their hat wet. You know this, David.
Yeah.
Mint juleps and water don't work out. So let's talk about Fierceness, because Fierceness, of course, continues to get a lot of publicity. And everyone I've talked to, Dave, says the same thing. If he brings his A game, everyone's battling for second. Are you any more of a believer now than you were earlier this week?
Yeah, he's going to be the favorite. He was 5-2 on the early line. He's kind of hovering between 5-2 and 3-1 in the current betting. Fierceness is one of those horses that if the Kentucky Derby were run as like an individual time trial for each horse, he'd win because he's the fastest horse. The problem with Fierceness is, and you kind of see it in that bar graph on the right from the Daily Racing Form, he's inconsistent. Some performances up, some are down. Sometimes when he gets jostled, faces traffic, horses in front of him, and he can't boss his field around, he gets into trouble. So he can be a bit of an all or nothing proposition, and that's not the kind of horse that I personally want to take as the favorite.
So, and of course, there are going to be some folks be like, less chalk is better, but you can't avoid Sierra Leone either, right? It's a horse that you've got to look at here and you have to consider. So what do you think?
Yeah, I think Sierra Leone is a more trustworthy horse. I think there's a question about how much of an edge he really has in terms of ability over the rest of this field, but he's a horse that comes from way back in the pack. He's going to be finishing really strong at the end of this race. I think that's a consensus from most people who have analyzed the form. It's just a question of whether he can overcome all that traffic in a 20-horse field to try to pass everybody, because that's just his style.
It's interesting, too. I've heard a lot over the last couple of days, David, about the number 18 horse Stronghold. I always remember the Santa Anita winner being getting a little more respect here. But what do you think here at this big number at 20-1?
I mean, if you want to search for a price in this race, I think he's one that you could consider. He's a horse that's really never run a bad race. It's just a question of whether he can step up against this tougher competition, because it really is a field of tougher horses than what he's faced in some of his prep races.
So you talked me into another long shot earlier this week, Honor Marie. So what is the card looking like as we get ready this weekend for you?
So I've got a few horses that I've got my eye on. I'm somebody who likes to look for prices in races like this, so I want to look beyond the favorites to try to find some value. One of those is the number 7, Honor Marie. He was 20-1 in the early line. Currently bet down a little bit. He's kind of around 12, 13-1, but I still think that's a good price on Honor Marie. He's a horse kind of like Sierra Leone, who comes from towards the back of the pack. He's cycling up to a better effort. He's caught a lot of buzz from the people who watch workouts in the morning ahead of this race because he's been training very well. So I think he's interesting horse. My top pick, though, is the number 11, Forever Young. He's a horse that's coming in from Japan. He's never raced in the U.S. before, won 3 races in Japan, twice over in the Middle East, coming to the United States. He's got a really good running style for this race. He's a really determined horse who just tries to win every race that he's in. I think he's going to give a good account of himself, and he figures to be somewhere in that 8-1 to 10-1 range. That's pretty fair price for me.
Yeah, I know a lot of folks that they don't like these horses being shipped in every year, but they say got the best shot of all of them with an opportunity to get it done here tomorrow at the Kentucky Derby. And David, as always, man, thank you so very much. There are tickets to cash tomorrow here. It's going to be a huge day at racing. Thank you so much to you and the Daily Racing Form. Cash those tickets, my friend, and Game Time Decisions will be back after this.
put $100 on the parlay for 1,500. I'd say, okay, I could take the ass, even though I wouldn't do it. So, long story short, guys, I'm sweating out this Jet game. I got $1,400 on the Jets, which I didn't really think would happen, to be honest, because I didn't believe in the Leafs winning tonight.
It doesn't matter. The Angels suck with Ohtani and Trout. It's just they're a bad team, but it would be nice if they could get some pieces. But who's going to? They could have got rid of Trout a long time ago and stockpiled picks, but that ship has sailed.
Sports Rage Late Night, only on SportsGrid.
Quotes coming out about Embiid. Oh, he's a warrior. You'll never get him off the court. You're just telling me he's an injury. He's one slip and fall away from what's not seeing him anymore in this series.
I would have sat him because there was only 1 day between the two games. It's 2 days between games 2 and games 3, and it's 2 days between games 3 and game 4.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think GameTime Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to GameTime Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than GameTime Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into GameTime Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in. Game Time Decisions here on the Sports Grid Network. We got plenty going on right now. Is a 22-19 Orlando Magic lead here with about 3.5 minutes to go in the first there. Of course, Orlando trying to extend this series to a Game 7. That's good news. The bad news is they'd have to win a game on the road, which they just refuse to do, and neither does Cleveland at this point here. Dave Sharapan knows all about the home teams that love to play at home and can't win on the road, and this is like, congratulations, Orlando. You get to Game 7. Somebody's got to step up and win a road game here, right? Somebody or no?
You would think so. It happened last night.
Brutal.
Right? The Knicks go on the road, win the game. I don't know. I mean, you see the way this one's starting. I would think that if it's going to happen tonight, it's going to happen with Cleveland too. I really do.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
This is one of those teams that have whatever it is they are during the regular season. In the biggest moments, like you become that. Whatever your issues are, you miss free throws. You have bad stretches from three, whatever it is that, happen over multiple times throughout the season happens in these big games, deciders. So I was leaning Cleveland before, Joe, but I mean, there's a lot of things happening this week, like this weekend and tonight, Knights, home, Game 6, road team. That's taking up a lot of the events of the weekend here in Vegas, at least today. But I don't know, Joe. Have you talked about the Derby much, this Kentucky Derby thing? They do this big race every year. It's like 125 years old. A lot going on with this race, Joe.
Lot. As a matter of fact, now that you mention it there, we just talked to David Aragon from the Daily Racing Report, and he just gave me a whole new set of horses that I have to bet. So want to thank him so much for that as the tickets continue to mount for me here. And of course, I'll still figure out a way to run second, third, and fourth. I'm sure of that here, but I do love what's coming up here this weekend with the Derby. I'm hoping we get one Game 7 here, if not, one in each at least, right? The NHL tonight, you mentioned it, underway with the Canucks and Predators. Nothing shocker with that one.
Yep.
You got your Vegas Knights coming up. We got to get to a game 7 in one of these, right? Somewhere.
So of the hockey, I think as of right now, I got under in the Vancouver-Nashville game and leaning Nashville for a side. So like the game under, I think we can get to the game 7 there. I mean, I got a lot of people watching the shows out in Vegas. Don't get mad at me, but I don't. I don't think so. I don't think that this one's going to game 7. This is Stars.
Can't find anybody that likes Vegas. It's unreal.
I know. Yeah. There's just now the adjustments were made by the Stars. And it always comes down to this in the playoffs, right? The goalie. Auditor's playing lights out. The Knights are trying to decide who's starting tonight. They created a goalie controversy by going with Thompson and then going with Hill. And it's not even the goalie's fault. They're not getting pucks. They're not winning battles. They're just everything that went right the first 2 games hasn't gone right. Now, there were, an overtime game, and they were on the wrong side of it. Can they win this game tonight? Absolutely. How are they going to win this game tonight? I don't think they need to turn it into a shootout, but they got to score at least 4. I don't think 3 is going to do it. Yeah, threes might be the overtime spot, but if they get 4, they're going to win. And they have to find a way to convert a power play. They have to find a way to maybe get a 4th line goal. You see what happens in these playoffs, right? The 4th line scores a goal for a team, and they don't normally. It's like worth 2. So I don't know. I'm not making plans for the next series yet because look at the numbers. Like they have jumped down on, to win the Western Conference, to win the Stanley Cup. Whereas a week ago, they were one of the top 3 choices. They're like 8th, 9th behind all these other teams.
Not even close.
That's what happens when you face elimination.
But are you going to, really 4 straight? Is that really what's, my goodness. The champs go down, essentially getting swept after having a 2-0 lead would be absolutely devastating. Kind of like, I almost feel like it's very Boston Bruins-esque, who was president the last time the Bruins closed out a series, by the way? Does Peralt know? Maybe Peralt can look that up. Maybe ask ChatGPT. When is the last time the Bruins actually closed a team out when they had the chance here? Because, again, they didn't do it. And why should we believe they're going to do it here this weekend?
I think it was 2011 when they beat Vancouver.
11?
I think it was 2011. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. Small number, 142 here. Listen, there's so many storylines working for this one, and Matt and I are doing game live right after this show. He's nervous. He said it. If they didn't win game 5, he's like, I think it's coming back. And he had the Toronto in game 6. He said, they're not winning that game. And they didn't. And now all the questions, you just said it, asking questions like, who was the president the last time they clinched this and won a series closeout game? They can't do it. It's like they play so tight. Joe, they got outshot yesterday. It was, I think I saw at the biggest stretch, like 22-7 shots on goal. Correct. They got dominated. Puck possession, shots, chances. Wasn't Swayman's fault. He kept them right there. But, man, oh, man, it's going to be sticks are going to be gripped real tight tomorrow night in Boston. Yeah.
Oh, well, it's brutal, too, when you think about it, because they're playing a team and a franchise that has had their own issues closing out. What are the chances of it ending in a tie? Just the whole thing. Like they just Nobody wants to win. Nobody can win. But overtime's not a bad call on that either.
I was going to say, you can bet the draw in the 60 minutes and get over $3. I mean, it's plus 320, plus 350, depending on where you shop. That's the only fitting way that the team that loses this game is going to lose in overtime.
Correct.
Bruins at home against the Toronto who can't win, and Toronto losing after winning games 5 and 6 and coming back in a series that they were dead. An overtime loss is probably the only way this is going to go. Like, this isn't a 4-1 game either way tomorrow night. Like, nobody's winning. This is close, dump, chase, stay out of the penalty box, limit chances, counter punch, everything you have to do. Only take an opening when you get it, and let's get this thing to the third period, with a chance to win.
I agree 100%. And I do think I thought maybe that wouldn't have been a bad draw play at the end of 60 minutes with the champs tonight here too in Vegas, but everyone seems so convinced that it's going to be tough sledding for them heading into the third at home. I don't know. I think they got a little fight left in them.
I hope so, but they can't hold a lead,
crossed.
Joe. That's the problem.
No, I know that's the
first two games. They just keep getting tied.
Nope. And the best part is they created a goalie controversy they didn't need. We'll have more on that coming up. Game time decisions. Unreal.
Put $100 on the parlay for $1,500. I'd say, okay, I could take the ass, even though I wouldn't do it. So, long story short, guys, I'm sweating out this Jet game. I got $1,400 on the Jets, which I didn't really think would happen, to be honest, because I didn't believe in the Leafs winning tonight.
It doesn't matter. The Angels suck with Ohtani and Trout. It's just they're a bad team, but it would be nice if they could get some pieces. But who's going to? They could have got rid of Trout a long time ago and stockpiled picks, but that ship has sailed.
Sports Rage Late Night, only on SportsGrid.
Quotes coming out about Embiid. Oh, he's a warrior. You'll never get him off the court. You're just telling me he's an injury. He's one slip and fall away from what's not seeing him anymore in this series.
I would have sat him because there was only 1 day between the two games. It's 2 days between games 2 and games 3, and it's 2 days between games 3 and game 4.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in here. Game Time Decisions on the SportsGrid Network. We've got plenty in action right now here. The Cavs trailing the Magic at the end of one, 29-25. In-game total 203.5. So it is still trending to the over. You can hop in on the Magic, lay in 5.5 if you want. They did close as a 4.5 point favorite here at home. So off to a good start for those of you that bet the over in that one. Also, great start here, Dave Sharapan, for the NHL and anybody that backed the under in the Predators and Vancouver here. We're about 2 minutes left in the first period. First period under. So far, so good. And of course, it was 5.5, and I'm seeing 4.5. And it was funny. You and I were on in-game live last night. We were talking about a very similar game like this in Boston and Toronto, where we kept trying to we kept betting the under 2.5, under 3.5 in that game, and praying for no empty netters, and it ended 2-1 because of a last half a second goal that was given. Boston ended up getting the. Oh my God! I mean,
how was that a goal?
Come on,
Joe?
Dave. We got screwed on that. Screwed.
We signed off. It was a dead under. I didn't even consider it. I went and grabbed my daughters, and we went to get something to eat. I thought the score was wrong. How did they get a goal? That's so. Listen, it was under every number but the 2.5. So we were talking about it early. Under 4.5, under 3.5. That's the beauty of this. When you see these games as they get deeper into the series, when they're close like that, 1-1, or 2-2, as soon as the third period starts, unless there's an egregious penalty, I mean, you could commit a felony that would probably get you 5 to 10. You probably won't get a penalty called in an NHL playoff game. The only way is too many men on the ice, flip the puck over the glass and not hit nothing. Something that the referee has to call. Otherwise, you kind of know it when you watch the sport enough. They let the players decide it. Now, liberties are taken, but what it means is the algorithm doesn't know that. The algorithm keeps that number based on the time. So you get a number now. I'm not saying 4.5 is a lock. I never use that word. But I mean, if you get under 4.5 right now and you ain't got to lay juice, or you can lay minus 120, it's probably a good idea to do it. This one is shaping up to be a 2-1 final, maybe 3-1 with an empty netter. The only way this one beats you is if it's a 2-goal deficit. They pulled a goalie, and then they pulled a goalie again. I mean, if you got under 5.5, I don't want to say it out loud, but I'll mention it. It's probably a good number. We'll just leave it at that.
Yes. Yeah. Nothing. Not end of the first period. Still nothing. Vancouver and Nashville. So far, so good. In-game number, by the way, 3.5. If you wanted to get into that battle one more time. Yep. So. Just saying, if it ain't broke, we ain't fixing it here. It's a big motto that we have. We also coming up with a possible Game 7, but can we trust the Clippers? I hate this number, Dave. I don't like the 8, and Dallas may very well win, but I gotta believe that not Kawhi Leonard, that Paul George and Harden and company. They're not going down swinging. You know what I mean? I feel this is going to be a better game than the market thinks it's going to be, but I wouldn't run to the window to lay the 8 here.
Sometimes the number is perfect in the book, and you go, okay, you got me, right now I'm in check, like on a chessboard. You put me in check. Do I have a move out? Do I do something here? I think you get a game like Game 4 in this series tonight, rather than what you saw in Game 5, which was a blowout. Everything started off bad for the Clippers and steamrolled and got worse, and they lose by 30 in Game 5. They led by 30. 31 actually was their highest lead in Game 4 in Dallas, where they're playing tonight. Clippers start fast. First quarter, probably a good bet. Maybe even first half, getting points. Probably a good bet. I think this one looks a lot like that. We're trading leads back and forth. Clippers aren't getting run out of the gym again. I don't think so. Unless we get beginning quarter and they go, that's it. We can't beat these guys.
That's it.
And then nail it in. I like them to cover, but I'm a book guy who's sitting in the, back or on the other side of the counter going, man, it's an 8-point spread, and like 80-something% of the tickets are on Dallas. I can't find anybody that even wants to take the points. So I don't know. I'd sit tight with the Clippers side tonight. Yeah, I don't get it.
I am with you. Listen, we know that the Clippers, the path for them is hit threes. And they've got guys that are going to absolutely chuck up some threes in this game here tonight. I can assure you that Paul George and company and Harden are going to take some threes. First quarter points, by the way, and I think Dave's got a good point there. 24.5 is what you're going to get here for the Clippers. And I think that, yes, I think the first quarter is going to tell us whether or not the Clippers are in this game. And do they come out, much like you said, Dave, in game 4, you could tell right off the bat, the energy was there, the shots were there. Paul George drops 26 in the first half. They need that kind of collected effort and energy in this one. And then we've got ourselves a game. But I think if they go into the break down 10, I don't think the Clippers are built to come back, right? I think that's got to be from in front or ugly.
If they don't have that, if they're down double digits halfway through the third quarter, bye-bye.
Yes.
It's over.
Yeah.
It's over. We'll
I
start
agree
making the series
100%.
price for the Mavs and the Thunder.
Yes, absolutely correct. Going to be a good one here, but Dave is hinting towards who he might be playing late night here tonight. We'll have a conversation about that when we close out Game Time Decisions next.
Put $100 on the parlay for $1,500. I'd say, okay, I could take the ass, even though I wouldn't do it. So, long story short, guys, I'm sweating out this Jet game. I got $1,400 on the Jets, which I didn't really think would happen, to be honest, because I didn't believe in the Leafs winning tonight.
It doesn't matter. The Angels suck with Ohtani and Trout. It's just they're a bad team, but it would be nice if they could get some pieces. But who's going to? They could have got rid of Trout a long time ago and stockpiled picks, but that ship has sailed.
Sports Rage Late Night, only on SportsGrid.
Quotes coming out about Embiid. Oh, he's a warrior. You'll never get him off the court. You're just telling me he's an injury. He's one slip and fall away from what's not seeing him anymore in this series.
I would have sat him because there was only 1 day between the two games. It's 2 days between games 2 and games 3, and it's 2 days between games 3 and game 4.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the game starts so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in as we look to close out this edition of Game Time Decisions. But have no fear, the boys will be taking over here in just a couple of minutes, including Mr. Sharapan there and Mr. Peralt, who will be trying to figure out tonight's trivia question on who was president the last time the Boston Bruins actually closed anybody out in a playoff series here. But Dave, in all honesty, for you guys take over at the top, you are wearing, I think this is a hint for maybe the game of the night out west with Atlanta, and it could be a National League championship preview. What do you think we get tonight?
I love when these two teams play. We got a couple good series. We saw Brewers Cubs today was a hell of a baseball game that, might be two division winners. These two are the two best teams in the National League, odds on favorite, both, 1-2 to win the National League. And the game's a pick 'em. Now, two schools of thought, Joe. When do you ever get the Dodgers at this good of a price? Okay, at home, right? But 9-8 at home this season. Let me see. I got it right here. Yeah, 9-8 at home, 20-13 overall. When do you get the Braves, even on the road, as a short favorite or even plus money? When I look at that, I go, all right, who's starting? We got Gavin Stone and Charlie Morton. I said, what am I going to wear tonight? I think it's Charlie Morton. I think it's the Braves. I think at least the first five, Joe. I think we could take it, take the Braves if you don't want to mess with the bullpens. But I'm all right taking the Braves for the game, even with the bullpens involved. But, there's going to be that going on. There's going to be hockey going on. It's like a late night. This is when I'm happy that I live on the West Coast, so I wouldn't have to try to stay awake late and maybe fall asleep. But between this and the hockey game and, prepping for the Derby, I don't know, Joe. We got to beat the chalk. Fierceness, throw them out. Throw out fierceness. No. Sierra Leone, let's get Sierra Leone maybe involved in the bottom of the try. But Sierra Leone, that's a great look right there. Look at Sierra Leone. There's all the numbers. There's all the stats. Everything says, that's the horse. I don't know, Joe. I'm working on a bunch of numbers. 7, 8, 15, 4, catching freedom.
4.
Yeah. So those are the ones we're working with. And buying anything about Forever Young. It was a great movie back in the day with Mel Gibson. I'm not buying it. You can have it if you want it. That's all I got, Joe. I got to go get ready to close this thing strong.
Well, listen, if we have our way tomorrow at the Derby, we'll end up hitting a absolutely phone book superfecta here, and you'll never hear from Dave and I again. So that'll be the end of it. We'll lay it out there, throw it out that it's been nice knowing you. So when Stronghold wins and comes from the outside and wins, and we're okay. We're just going to key around number 18 here and see if we can't find a couple of combinations. Maybe a little Grand Mo the first at 50-1. Just saying, this could be a bomb tomorrow.
Just saying,
with 20 in a race.
I hit Rich Strike.
Just saying.
I hit Rich Strike 2 years ago on top, and that try, I couldn't believe it when it happened. And I think I took like 3 weeks off. I had to take the kids to a couple baseball games, took a trip, went and saw my brother, dropped off an envelope for him. God bless. I'm coming to Florida to watch the Panthers. If we hit the Super, Joe, I'll be able to play golf with you next week between shows.
Correct. Well, if we hit the Super, we'll be able to buy into the Florida Panthers, and we'll sit right in the owner's box and be able to go from there, Dave. I don't think it is going to be a problem at all here. But we got to get away from Game 7s. We got 2 possible ones still that we got to get to. We got the Rangers and Carolina coming up this weekend. We also have the Nuggets taking on Minnesota, which I think is 7 games one way or the other here, Dave. So I think it's going to be interesting coming up here. This weekend is going to be huge, man. Enjoy it. Close it out strong. Get ready for Matty Peralt and Dave Sharapan. In-game live primetime is coming up next. Dave, we appreciate it. Cash those tickets, my man. Get ready. Plenty more coming your way here on the grid. Enjoy the weekend.